When my son started sleeping on the floor beside our bed, I didn't question it right away. Kids go through phases. Bad dreams, shadows in the hall, some cartoon that stuck too long in their heads. But when the third night came and I found him curled up with his blanket, like it was armor, I finally asked, "Buddy, why don't you want to sleep in your room anymore?" He looked up at me with wide, serious eyes, his voice barely more than a breath. "Because someone's been coming in at night." I smiled without thinking, brushed it off with the usual parents' reassurances. "It was just a dream, kiddo." But he didn't blink, didn't waver. "I saw her, Dad. She just stands there by my bed." That night, after he fell asleep on the floor again, I told my wife. Melissa and I agree it was probably just his imagination. Children have vivid dreams, especially Owen. Still, for peace of mind, I opened the archive security camera footage from his room. We'd installed a camera after a break-in scare last year, but hadn't paid much attention to it since. At 2:03 a.m., my hands froze over the keyboard. There was someone in the room, standing completely still beside Owen's bed. I paused the footage, zoomed in, my stomach flipped, my hands started to shake. It was someone we both knew. We live in a quiet suburb just outside Chicago. I work from home most days. Melissa teaches second grade. Our son, Owen, he's 8, soft-hearted, more comfortable with books than soccer balls, hates thunderstorms, can't bring himself to kill a spider. He's the kind of boy you feel an overwhelming need to protect from everything ugly in the world. Melissa's sister, Rachel, moved in with us last October. Her marriage had imploded. Cheating, gambling, the kind of wreckage that leaves someone hollow. She was barely keeping it together. We had a guest room. I told her to stay as long as she needed. That's what family does. But the Rachel who moved in wasn't the Rachel we remembered. She slept through the mornings, disappeared most nights, floated through the house like a ghost. Owen seemed to shrink in her presence. He flinched when she entered the room. Sometimes she'd just stand in doorways, unmoving, like she forgot what she'd come for. One night, I found her in the kitchen, sitting alone in the dark, eyes blank. "I can't sleep," she whispered. In January, she asked us to co-sign a loan, said she was getting back on her feet, thinking of starting a daycare. Melissa wanted to help. I hesitated. "You know how this goes," I said. "She gets overwhelmed. She shuts down. Then she disappears." "She's trying," Melissa said gently. "She's family." I told them I needed time to think. That same week, Owen started dragging his blanket into our room, said he was having nightmares. I didn't make the connection right away, but something about his silence stuck with me. He wasn't acting scared. He was acting guarded, like he didn't want to say what was clawing at the back of his throat. A few days later, I told Rachel we couldn't co-sign. Blamed finances. She nodded quietly, said she understood. But that night, Owen cried in his sleep. That was the night I watched the camera feed. After seeing the footage, I didn't say a word to Melissa. Not yet. I needed to be absolutely sure. I spent the next 2 nights camped in the home office, glued to the feed. And just past 2 in the morning, there she was again, Rachel, standing by Owen's bed. Still, silent, staring. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there. The next morning, I sat beside Owen, kept my voice low. "When you see her, buddy, does she say anything?" He nodded, almost imperceptibly. "She tells me not to scream." I told Melissa everything. She didn't believe me at first. Thought maybe I'd misread something, misinterpreted a glitch. I showed her the footage. She collapsed onto the couch, her face drained of color. "What the hell is she doing?" she whispered. "I don't know," I said, "but she's not staying here another night." Rachel denied it all, said she was sleepwalking, said she didn't remember any of it. Her voice cracked. She cried, accused us of treating her like she was dangerous, like a predator. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I just stood there, my son clutching my hand from behind me, and said, "You need to leave, Rachel. Today." Melissa tried to soften it, offered to pay for a hotel. Rachel didn't respond. She just stared at us, then at Owen, packed hastily, and slammed the door behind her. The police came that afternoon. I didn't press charges. But I handed over the footage and asked them to file an incident report just in case. Melissa's parents called the next day, furious, accused us of humiliating Rachel, said she was traumatized, not dangerous, that we had overreacted. I asked them one question. Would you let her stay under your roof with your grandchild? They didn't answer. They hung up. We changed the locks that same night. Owen still sleeps in our room some nights. I don't push him to go back. I don't tell him he's being silly. I just let him breathe safely. Rachel hasn't contacted us since, but a week ago, Melissa got a voicemail. Rachel's voice was slow, slurred. I didn't mean to scare him. I just miss being a mom. I don't know what she was trying to do. I don't think she would have hurt him. But standing like that, night after night, over a sleeping child, that's not love. That's not normal. That's something broken people do when the lines blur between memory and reality. I don't hate her, but I can't forgive her either. I just want Owen to feel safe again. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, when I hear his quiet breathing beside our bed, I wonder if this will stay with him. If one day, years from now, he'll ask me why I let someone like that into his world. I don't know what I'll say. Maybe, because I thought I was helping. Or maybe just, I'm sorry,